Hey, everybody. It's Thursday night, and it's not last Thursday night. So that means we're having a show tonight. So stick around for the awesomeness after this. What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great December so far. Um, I am, and that's why we didn't have a show last week. I was at Disney World, which was pretty spectacular and made me very happy. So, speaking of things that are spectacular and that make me happy, what's up, Alan?
Certified badass.
I have not been able to play that one in a while, so I had to throw it out there.
Well, who can blame you?
I know. It feels like it has been forever since we have done this.
It does a little bit.
Then on top of that, I'm going to be MIA next week. So December has definitely been a packed month. That is for sure.
That sounds like it.
But the good news is 2024 is almost over with.
That is a plus for sure. So, you read any good comics lately?
Literally, it's been so long since we talked comics that I grabbed handfuls of stuff just so we could kind of get caught up on a little bit of everything over the past couple of weeks. And Matthew Posey, I'm glad you're on. I'm probably going to sell you a comic book or 10 tonight.
Woohoo! That's what I like to hear. But in the meantime, we also have a special guest this week. And I mean super special. One that we haven't had on the show in a while. And that's a crying shame. What say we introduce this person?
Bring them on.
All right, guys, y'all get ready. Put your hands together virtually. You can do it for real if you want to. But it is HR.
Boo!
Hey. Wait. What is that?
It is what it is.
How dare you? Look, I'm festive. It even says so in my title.
I give the people what they want.
So how you doing, Kaylisa? What's going on?
I'm doing well. I haven't been anywhere exciting like Disney World or anything, but we've been hanging tight at Haven Comics and playing a super fun guessing game of when the comics are going to show up, which is
buddy.
real weird.
Going to go ahead and launch right into that.
Might as well.
All right. So for anybody who does not know the current situation in comics, it's a lot of fun. Let's go back a little ways. Probably, I want to say it was 2020, maybe 2019. Might have somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah, right. Diamond switched us from getting our stuff from the Olive Branch warehouse, which is just outside of Memphis, so very, very close to us, to the Plattsburgh, New York warehouse, which surprisingly is not anywhere near us. In a move that made no sense to anybody. And they did that to quite a few stores here in the South. No, they did not. Thank you, Matt. They did not extend us an olive branch, and that was sad and pitiful. So that was 4 or 5 years ago. Then COVID happened, and they lost DC, and then they lost Marvel, and they lost Image, and they lost Dark Horse, and they lost IDW.
Which is wild, because I remember when he used to endlessly complain about the monopoly that Diamond was.
Well, and here's the problem. Instead of nobody having a monopoly, now we have 3 monopolies.
Yeah.
You can only get certain books from certain places instead of choosing the one place to get all of your books that works best for you. So that's a real fun thing to have to deal with.
And the article that I sent you earlier,
yeah,
that's only in America. In the UK, Diamond is still the #1 distributor for all of the companies.
That is correct.
Huh.
Because everybody else, when they made those decisions to cut ties with Diamond, was about the time they realized that there is no comics distribution anywhere else in the world from anyone else. So it is just Diamond. That's correct.
Hi.
But weirdly, that's how things were going. And Diamond shipped us off to this other warehouse before all that started. Well, now that they've lost all of these accounts and all these customers and such, Diamond is deciding to consolidate warehouses, and they're getting rid of the warehouse up in Plattsburgh, New York, and consolidating all of their accounts down here to Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Oh. So
somehow they royally screwed that up. They've been sending people invoices, not invoices, but bills, who have pay on delivery like we do, right? They've been sending bills to us saying, "Hey, give us this money." I'm like, "I'm sorry, this is pay on delivery. I'm not going to give you money for fun."
It's like, would you rather switch to them sending us bills, or is it better for us to be payment on delivery?
I like this the way it is now, for the most part. There are options to switch things, but then they just automatically charge you, and you don't get a say.
And we don't get to check.
No. So it's not like I authorize you to pay this because I received my product. It's we charged you, and you may or may not get the product, and that's not cool. But anyway, as part of the reason that they claim, and they sent this out in a public letter to all the retailers, so it's out there, is that they decided they were going to do this consolidation, and that they were going to just do a month-to-month lease on the warehouse with the landlord at the warehouse there. But the landlord, they hadn't consulted with the landlord when they made that decision.
Cool and good. I was going to say a month-to-month works if you're like,
well, funny thing, I've actually got a real client who will come in and take this warehouse, so y'all get out now.
Yeah.
There's no month-to-month.
No, that doesn't sound great.
So they're scrambling to get all this stuff done, and they left us in the lurch. They left hundreds of accounts in the lurch. Pretty much anybody they were switching from that warehouse back down to here got hosed. So the week of Thanksgiving, we did not get any comics from Diamond. Last week, we did not get any comics from Diamond.
Nope.
This week, we had 2 boxes show up of some stuff.
Yeah, I was the one who got those. It was real weird.
Yeah, just kind of random stuff. And then I finally got an invoice for next week, which is massive. I mean, it's just a ton of stuff. And it's stuff with item codes all the way back from July.
Good Lord.
Stuff that we ordered in July, August, September, October, and November is shipping next week. And our bill is approximately 7 times larger than normal next week.
Good to know.
Also, they already told us in advance it's going to be late. So it's going to be arriving at some random time.
Yeah.
And will contain at least 3 weeks worth of product.
And see, to me, that's not just hurting you, but that also hurts the general consumer that has a box at not just your store, but any store.
Yeah.
Because now,
well, at any affected store, because some stores have just been getting their stuff like normal all along.
Yeah. Well, now you've got somebody who's about to get hammered with tons of, basically at this point, what's the equivalent of back issues.
It's a month's worth of books. Yeah.
Yeah, a month's worth of books. And I mean, you need your money, but at the same time, what if it's not in the consumer's budget to go buy a month's worth of books plus their normal stuff in one fell swoop?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And
this
the
sounds like the 90s all over again.
And the communication has been zero until, because I got tired of not getting any responses back. I put them on blast on one of the retailer forums that publishers are also on. And I said, hey, look, I want to get comics to my customers. Also, I kind of like to eat and pay rent.
Yeah.
I need to be able to sell the product that I ordered. And then they came out the next day with a letter like, hey, we really appreciate your patience. Like, we don't have any patience.
That's so. I'm
We don't
sorry.
have any choice.
Apologies. No good.
So
'Cause
that's
I'm
what's going on the distribution front right now. And then this week, PRH sent us 7 boxes. Sometimes they're big boxes. Sometimes they're little boxes that have only 1 or 2 comics.
I hate those. I understand they probably come from a different source, but they're so annoying.
But one of those boxes didn't show up until today. So all the shortages that I reported yesterday
showed up
are apparently not shortages today, or at least some of them. It's a mystery.
How long do you have for PHR to say, hey, this, and this are missing and this was damaged? Is that a 24-hour one?
You've pretty much got to do it when you get the shipment. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do they want from you?
I don't know what to tell you people. So yeah, the current logistics nightmare that is distribution for comics. Good luck to everybody. But certainly swing by your local comic shop and pick up what you can, because trust me, they need it. The way this is all going, it's just really, really painful and difficult, and it's completely unpredictable.
Yeah.
So we don't have a whole lot of option. It comes when it comes, and we have to deal with it. Meanwhile, other stores are getting their stuff just like clockwork, and it's infuriating.
And see, some of the stuff I was reading earlier, they were basically saying that with Diamond closing this warehouse, and then I want to say it was like 15% of their revenue actually comes from shipping comics overseas. Losing the warehouse, the employees, everything, they're now saving money. So people seriously doubt they're going out of business anytime soon at this point because of some other ventures that they have going on.
Well, and I'll tell you, I don't want Diamond to go out of business.
But
there's a lot of publishers. There's a lot of publishers that are only published or only out there because Diamond distributes their stuff. Good case in point, Keen Spot, that Mark Spears is being published by. They're not being pushed by or handled by Lunar. They're not being handled by PRH. Diamond is the only one.
Well, I mean,
so you lose Diamond, you lose a lot of those kind of things.
I know, but what I'm getting at is it was the same thing with when they started the Heroes World crap in the 90s. There were comic book stores that did not survive that. I mean, with the whole Marvel going to one distributor, everybody else is using Diamond, and then the whole back and forth. I mean, Diamond's going to have to figure out something soon and get it straightened out quick, or they'll start losing customers the other way.
No, that's 100% true. Speaking of losing comic book stores, big shout out to comic shop. I want to say it's in Illinois. It's called Monarch Comics. The strip mall they were in caught fire and burned to the ground. And
oh, wow.
That's heartbreaking.
Took out a comic book store that's been there for 30 years. Total loss.
Oh, yeah. We are an unfortunately flammable shop.
Yeah, no, I wish there were, but there isn't. Each individual thing kind of makes sense, right? Okay, we're consolidating warehouses. There's a little bit of a hiccup, except a little bit of a hiccup has turned into a month-long nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, guys, I would forgive a hiccup, no problem. This just reeks of incompetence.
So what if
also, how you enter into a plan to go to a month-to-month lease, but you haven't talked to the landlord and gotten the landlord's buy-in on that, and your whole plan to do this smoothly hinged on that?
Yeah.
What the heck, guys?
So do you know, like, say, like, Keen Spot is the publisher for, like, Mark Spears' comic, for example.
Right.
So what would you do if you were Keen Spot and you were like, I'm done with this? Do they have the power to say, hey, we would like to be distributed by Penguin Random House or Lunar? Do they have
Possibly?
But like Lunar and Penguin Random House might be like, we have to look at whether you're worth it or.
There's all of those factors in play. Yeah, they may have signed a exclusive distribution agreement with Diamond. A lot of people did.
Yeah.
Because
they weren't
most everybody did, in fact. But those who didn't, a lot of them have gone to Lunar. The problem is Lunar and PRH don't have the bandwidth to process a whole lot of other comics. So they just don't have the bandwidth to do it. So a lot of smaller press publishers would just die instantly.
Yeah, that's really scary.
So it's very, very rough for those publishers who are reliant on Diamond.
Alan, we've got a truck, we've got a dream.
But speaking of,
let's go.
Hey, Alan has experience at UPS.
UPS and
Alan knows how to run that ship.
We'll all chip in. We'll get a cool
run that ship.
We'll get a cool wrap to decorate your car.
I've been wanting a good reason to do that.
You know what? I would probably name it Heroes World just to piss Marvel off when I do it the right way.
Oh yeah, that would certainly chaff them pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's intentional, but it sure does feel that way, Matt. When you're on the wrong side of it, it very much feels that way, and I hate that. But tonight we were going to talk about some of our favorite things.
Yeah, better things.
And
now that we've gotten the venting over.
Yes, venting over. But we're going to talk about some of our favorite things. And you may be thinking, why is HR here? Well, Kaylisa is here because she has one of her favorite things that she would like to talk about and convince you why it needs to be one of your favorite things.
That's right. And this was all a clever ruse. It's Witch Hat Atelier propaganda time.
You sneak. That is not what you told me.
No, I'm kidding. This is a joke. But the anime is coming out in January. We have the manga. Come read it. It's really good. Please read it.
I didn't know an anime of that was coming out in January.
Yeah, it's going to be real good. So also, if you're looking for a gift, if you have tween or teenager that likes anything fantasy, get a couple volumes of this Christmas present at Haven Comics. We have it available. Also, I don't have any.
That commercial was brought to you by Witch Hat Atelier.
Yes. It's so good. But no, what I'm actually here for is to tell everyone about a new series coming out called The Lucky Devils. And I am clicking on a link and I am unloved because I can't see chat for some reason. So I'm flying blind, which is terrifying as HR. But there's a link because
that is scary.
I do have. So if you remember 8 Billion Genies, it kind of caught everybody by surprise.
Genies, the comic book that kind of caught the world by surprise and became a smash hit.
Yes, a smash hit. I think it's currently optioned by Netflix. So it may become a show.
It is. That's correct.
Yeah, it may become a show. It may not. Optioning is weird. But it's... If you like essentially 8 Billion Genies, you're going to like The Lucky Devils. That's the sales pitch. It's Charles Soule, his writing. It's Ryan Brown, his illustration. The link I just sent is an interview where, what's the quote? They literally say like, yeah, where was it? Reinventing an approach to the little creatures who mess with humanity angle that works so well in 8 Billion Genies. The elevator pitch is 2 low-level demons whose duty it is to tempt a particular human they're assigned to. They are fed up with the way that hell works. They are tired of it. They are sort of locked in their station in life. They're tired of the boot-looking brown nosing that you have to do to get forward in life. So they said, all right, to hell with it. We're going to buck the system. They reach out to their assigned human and they say, hey, just stop screaming. I've got a pitch for you. Your life sucks. My life sucks. What if we work together and we see what we can do with this? And maybe we can both break us out of the systems we're trapped in. It seems like a really good premise. I don't have the actual preview copy with me here because I left it at the shop so other people could read it. But imagine this is a copy of The Lucky Devils. It sounds really good. The art looks gorgeous.
We have a signed poster up. We got a signed poster up on the wall of the store at the moment, right?
Yes, we do, because I got to meet them at Dragon Con, and they're both very
on
nice.
the left side, isn't it?
Hmm?
Isn't it like on the, if you're facing the door leaving, it's on the left side close to the counter, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's correct.
that's where we put our little like highlight promo thingies. So honestly, the elevator pitch is it's two demons who are about to make a massive mess of things in the human world and in hell. I'm trying to think. I wanted to say it's almost like, not quite like sitcom. It's not like, a 22-minute show kind of feeling, but it's like a good 12-episode TV series is the feeling you get from it. They're going to get you in with the premise. They're going to hook you. They're going to give you a good time with the story and you'll be out. It's not going to run 200 comic issues. They're in, they complete their goal, they're out. Yeah, those are the two devils. And then behind them, you can see the human that they're assigned to. And yeah, the variants and stuff. But it seems like it's going to be really good. Yeah, and this link has a couple pages previews. So
That looks awesome.
Yeah.
No, I do like the way that looks. It does look kind of cool.
Yeah. So, Ryan Brown's a fantastic artist. Charles Soule, he writes comics. I think he's done some.
Charles Soule, who wrote Daredevil. He's
done a ton.
He's writing
done some
Star Wars
novelizations, yeah, and all sorts of stuff. So, two heavy hitters in comics right now, and creating little creatures that are messing with humanity again. So, what's not to like? And now that people know about it, you can get in on it and actually get a first issue to read at Haven Comics.
Unlike 8 Billion Genies, which nobody knew about until it hit, and then everybody was scrambling. And
I just happened
copies of the first issue were just impossible to get.
Yeah, it really caught people off guard.
I still don't understand how fast 8 Billion Genies gained as much traction as it did.
It was just that good. There was nothing else about it. It wasn't like they did anything. They just
it was almost like it was, hey, there's this new comic book coming out called 8 Billion Genies. Oh, never mind, it's sold out.
As with this team, I think what they're really good at is episode 1 is just the sales pitch. So what you don't have to invest any more than that. You're going to like it, you're not going to like it, and you can walk away or you can become obsessed with it. And it's a good premise, so I think a lot of people glommed onto it. And this is a local comic book day cover, but yeah, this was the cover for issue number 1, so it was really unassuming.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, a weird little mascot character.
And for anybody who doesn't remember, they did a blank cover where they kind of did an outline of one of the genies, and you were supposed to fill it in. And then they gave out awards for their favorite ones. And Kaylisa won one of those awards because she made her cover. She made a cookie.
I made a cookie.
She made a cookie of the genie.
And then it was very sweet because they had Charles Soule and Ryan Brown at Dragon Con, and I got to walk up and I had my little Instagram thing like a multi-pass. I was like, "Hi, can you sign my comic?" And also I was the person that made the cookie, and it was very funny because they were like, "Oh, cookie lady, awesome."
Well, one of the cool things about you submitting that and winning that was not only did you get a copy of the hardback collection of the book signed by both creators, but the shop that she represented,
Yeah.
aka Haven Comics, we also got a signed hardback edition
Nice.
of the collected version. So that was pretty spectacular.
I hope they do something. It doesn't have to be Lucky Devils or something. That'd be really cool if Image did that again for local comic shop day.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would dig that.
Yeah.
That would be great. So yeah, thank you for sharing that about, because I didn't know anything about that book really until you came back so excited that it was coming out, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but Kaylee's is excited about a comic, and that does not happen often.
My only regret is the one cover I want is one of those like 1 in whatever amount variants. So you can't.
The black cat cover.
Yeah, because Ryan Brown has a black cat named Simon, and he puts it in the comic wherever he can. And then there's always a variant number 1 where it's just the cat going. When like in this one, he's covered in demon flames and stuff like that. So
perfect. That's awesome.
Pitch.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yes,
we ordered quite a few copies.
Excellent. Can you still? Is it on the sign up sheet, or it's probably too late for that?
Shouldn't be.
I don't understand.
Final order cutoff was this past week.
Yeah, do get that number 1.
Final order cutoff was this past week, but we did order quite a few copies, so we should have them on the shelf. Check it out. As she said, it's the sales pitch for the book. It sets the whole thing up. So if you say, hey, this is really cool, I want to see where it goes, sign up for the rest of it. And if you say, yeah, it wasn't really for me, that's okay too. That's all you invested in it was that one book.
Yeah, and this article that I linked to actually has a really good like preview of issue number 1 and stuff, so you can decide. But I really like it, so hopefully you will too.
Very cool.
You can get issue number 1, and then you can watch episode number 1 of Witch Hat Atelier after you've read volume number 1 of Witch Hat Atelier. And also Delicious in Dungeon is a manga that I really like that is available at Haven Comics, which is why I'm mentioning it. It's done.
Explain that one to Alan, because I think he'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, you really need, because that name, there's a lot of stuff going through my head right now with that name.
It is fantasy anime. Well, fantasy manga meets one of my favorite genres that exists in manga and anime is called gourmet, where it's highlighting like the cooking, the eating, and the presenting of food. So the elevator pitch for the story is an adventuring party gets very deep down in a dungeon. And this dungeon is well known. If you make it all the way to the bottom, you will get every wish you want will come true. They get very deep down. They lose their cleric. She sacrifices herself in a fight against a dragon to teleport everybody out of danger. They were way in over their heads. So the adventuring party says, all right, she's still down there in that dragon's belly. If we can get there fast enough, we can kill the dragon, get her out of the belly, and revive her. There's revivification magic in this dungeon. But the problem is getting that far down is really hard, not just because of the monsters and dangers, but you run out of food. So the main character, Leo, says, listen, we can do this, but we are taking minimal supplies because we're broke now because we just got our butts whooped in the dungeon. And we are going to fight, kill, cook, and eat the monsters we find along the way. So it's part dungeon crawling adventure. It's part gourmet. How does one cook a manticore? What are the edible parts of a griffin? Things like that.
Well, all you really need is fava beans and a nice Chianti.
They have a rule. There are varying levels of agreement on what they'll eat among the party members. They decide merfolk are off limits
because they don't know if they're chicken or fish.
They don't anything that's really humanoid. But the cast of characters is fantastic. The art is incredible. It's really beautiful. It's complete, which I feel like is a sales point for any manga or comic series. So you can actually read the whole thing from beginning to end.
How many volumes are there?
14.
Okay.
And the character development and the world building. The character development is really good. The world building is really fascinating because the dungeon has an ecology that functions, and you could explain all like, oh, it's magic, so don't worry about it. But there actually are functional explanations for why monsters behave this way, why the dungeon's doing that kind of thing. It's really fascinating. So it's probably my favorite series ever, which is saying a lot. But yeah,
That
delicious
is saying a lot.
Yeah. The main character.
They're now selling plushes and all kinds of things.
Yeah. Ooh, are they in the? And is it Penguin Random House? That's the distributor for that, or is it Diamond?
I think it's Diamond. They're certainly in the Diamond previews.
Well, maybe they'll get their act together and I can get some plushes. But yeah, it's part wacky comedy romp of these kind of foolish adventures. It's got good drama and character building where you want it. It's got great art. It's got really fantastic monsters. I highly recommend it. And it
sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, should I say it's available at Haven Comics again? Because I point at things and say, Josh, order this, and he does because he's nice.
I'm no dummy. That's all there is to that.
It's located in our weird little forbidden, like
our weird hidden manga section.
We can help you find it in the store. Also, another great gift for a teen or a tween or someone you're like, I think they like anime. Maybe they'll like this. They will. They will if they're cool.
Yeah, if they're cool. That's the tough one. Always hard to tell.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, wait, before we go, I did have a good seasonal question.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
If you could celebrate the holidays, whatever respective holiday the character celebrates, hero or villain or whoever, who would you want to go to a holiday party with?
Hold up. I can answer that question right now. With a comic book. Or wait a minute. Is it in this stack?
Ooh, yay, I segued into comics.
You really did. It's really simple. I would go to a Christmas party at the North Pole with this Santa Claus from Silent Night Returns.
Perfect.
Have you read this?
Mm-mm.
Not yet.
Y'all really need to. Did you read the first series?
I loved it. Last year was great. I think we've got a trade of it at the store.
This one's just as good so far because in the very first issue, I mean, it does not, they don't need to set anything up. You know, Santa Claus is established in the DC universe. In the very first issue, Damien has gone to Zatanna because it's just like this big thing has happened. The major heroes are stuck. They're trapped. Damien goes to Zatanna and he's telling her what's going on because they know it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, out of her rock fireplace comes this massive, like, fire demon looking thing. And they draw back because they think it's about to attack them. And all of a sudden, the flames go out and Santa Claus is standing there and he goes, I hadn't done that in a long time. But it's, while Zatanna, in the first issue, while Zatanna is trying to figure out exactly what's going on, Damien and Santa Claus go fight crime in Gotham City.
Because someone's got to do it.
And it's funny because you might see them like jumping or, you know, swinging on ropes or something. And Santa Claus is in the exact same position that Batman would normally be in.
Of course.
So it's stuff like that. But yes, this version of Santa Claus, that is who I would spend the holidays with.
That's awesome.
So my big question is Damon on the nice list or the naughty list? Because I don't think he's on the nice list.
Well, here's the thing about it. They do ask, well, they really didn't ask, but they're trying to figure out how Santa Claus knew that they were in trouble and needed his help. And it does fall back to something that happened in the first series,
okay,
where all the monsters escaped. But the reason why that Santa Claus knew they needed him and where he knew to go and what chimney was because when Damien was telling Zatanna what was going on, he was standing beside her Christmas tree. And standing beside her Christmas tree, Santa listens through the trees. And Legion is correct. Santa always knows.
And always knows.
Legion, what's up, dude?
I mean, honestly, I loved when they did this last year for Christmas, and I'm loving what they're doing again this year.
It was a surprise hit for me last year for sure. Oh, wow. We got a
Lord
Nosh.
have mercy. Look, Nosh, if anybody can overcome those odds, you can. I mean,
That is truth.
I've seen some of the
That
odds
is
you come
100%
across.
truth.
Dude, where have you been? I know you've been busy, but dang.
It's apparently been lost in the wilderness.
Hey, man, if you want to come on and talk comics anytime, brother, we'd love to have you. You are like the DC encyclopedia, and it is educational talking DC comics with you. We always love
they're
it.
actually just about to get into the comic talk for reals.
Mm-hmm.
So let us know if you want to come on, and we'll just send you a link, and you can come on, brother.
Yeah. Josh, who would you party with?
Any fictional universe?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say this.
And a bad guy can be good for the holidays, yeah.
I would have a hard time picking anything other than celebrating a holiday in the Shire.
Ooh.
Now, I wouldn't fit in any of the buildings.
Hobbit, yeah.
But Hobbit sensibilities, that's right there for me. I would maybe some hobbits and some dwarves. I don't know that I would be hanging out with elves a lot. I think I would offend them. But holidays in the Shire, I would enjoy the ever-loving heck out of that.
I like that.
It is.
It's
whatever it is they're smoking.
That massive pipe that Gandalf shows up with.
Well, yeah, whatever they're smoking, and they don't exactly lay off the cider or the ale or whatever it is they're drinking. But I got Whoville. There you go. That's totally legit.
Yeah,
I can see
Whoville for me. I would have to take that in small doses because eventually it's going to get on your nerves.
Well, like just the party with the roast beast and the dinner and stuff. You don't have to sit there and sing songs for 18 hours straight. You can bounce.
Oh no, I'm spending like all month long with this Santa Claus. It's not just a party. I'm doing the whole thing.
Oh man, dude, I am so sorry.
Oh.
So sorry to hear that, Nosh. Hats off to her. Hats off to you. Appreciate you, brother. If you need anything, give us a shout, dude. We'll help however we can.
Always happy to provide moments of levity and distraction.
Yeah, we kind of had
that too.
That conversation in DMs. I didn't want to say anything, but still.
Alan will get up and moon the camera if you need a laugh.
The YouTube censors, I don't know if I'm gonna get it past them. So I mean, I could, but we would have to blur it out.
I was gonna say we get demonetized, but we don't make any money on YouTube, so yeah.
That's correct. We would have to be monetized to be demonetized.
Yeah.
I actually saw a thing one time, and it was an interview with a CIA agent, and they were talking about YouTube and who actually monitors YouTube. And he said that no one cares about a YouTube channel until it goes over 1 million followers. And that's when they actually start caring and start monitoring. And that's not just the government, that's YouTube also. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess they'll never care about us.
That's probably true.
There tens of followers.
Now, I mean, if y'all want to push us to 1 million followers, we'll find out for y'all.
Yeah, we would be happy to investigate that. Now, Kaylisa, you didn't say, but who would you hang out with?
I was wondering. I need to seek your comic authorities on this. Do you think Doctor Doom would throw a holiday party? Because if so, I think it would be the most incredible party, a full, ballroom, 18, 20-foot tall trees, all perfectly decorated. There would be immaculate food. You would have to show up in like tux and tails and ball gowns, but I think it would be amazing if you could, assuming you get out alive at the end. But like, I think that would be incredible.
Doctor Doom is a head of state.
That's what I'm
he
saying.
is the ruler of Latveria. He owns a castle.
Yeah, so like, if he
there's
would,
no way he doesn't have a killer holiday party.
That's what I'm thinking. If he actually would hold one, I think it would be incredible. That or any one of the Knights of Hanukkah with Ben Grimm. I think that would be also equally good because he knows all the best delis in New York.
Oh, 100%.
Catering from. So I think that would also be two different scales of fantasticness, but
See, with Doctor Doom, I would think that it would be so prim and proper that it would be extremely dull and boring.
True.
So I would definitely
go. Doctor Doom has got magic, dude. He's going to be doing some cool stuff.
Well, I don't know. I would go with Fantastic.
He might open a prison or two and take over a neighboring country.
Yay! Scared cat.
Yeah, there you go.
That's also true, though. You might go to the party, but you might wake up in a dungeon. That's what.
Yeah, see, true. I'm saying it's got to be like a high risk, high reward kind of scenario, but that would be awesome.
No, that's pretty fantastic. I like that.
Y'all going to talk about some comics now?
We are.
Oh, right. We can definitely talk
before
about
we do, we promised we were going to talk about some of our favorite things in general, and kind of not a 2024 wrap up necessarily, but some of the stuff that we've really been digging in 2024. And I'm going to start local, and I'm going to go with my man Mark Spears. Mark Spears,
sound effect.
after 30 years, has become an overnight sensation. Dude has been doing the work for a long time. Is literally the hottest thing in comics right now. It's insane. Let me explain. The first issue of Mark Spears Monster sold just under 11,000 copies. Certainly more than any other book that Keenspot had ever put out, right? The second issue, all right, so if a store orders this many copies of issue number 1, they order this many copies of issue number 2, or this many, right? They ordered this many copies of issue number 1, just under 11,000. Issue number 2, they ordered 14,000. That's amazing. Y'all want to know what's even more amazing?
They sold even more of issue number 3?
Okay, so this is 14,000. How many they sold for issue number 2? Here's how many they sold for issue number 3.
Wow.
While probably getting reprints of issue number 1 and issue number 2.
37,000 copies of issue number 3.
So have you seen what his new Kickstarter is at now?
Yes. Isn't that awesome?
Dude, there's still 12 days left to go.
I know.
And so I normally do not do the Kickstarters, and the reason being is I know that you back them at a retailer level.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, you take care and be safe. Watch out for all the crazies out there.
Since I know what you do on Saturday mornings when you watch the show, pause the show, run back to the washing machine, add the fabric softener, then come back. Now's the time to do it. Love you, brother.
Speaking of things that you do on a Saturday or Sunday morning, Alan, I haven't seen your ghost roast video yet.
This past month and a half, I honestly thought life would slow down a little bit when one kid went to basic training for the military. And it was like, no, it was almost like the youngest said, oh, wait a minute, I can ramp this up even more than when there was 2 kids in the house. So I will get that. I'm going to try to do it this Saturday morning. Oh, wait a minute. I need to out Nick. Nick and I was talking.
Say this is a foolish gamble, Nick.
Yeah, Nick, this is rough. You shouldn't have jumped in on this. Nick and I was talking, and this was Tuesday night, and I asked him a particular question about a comic book character, and he spit it out like that. And I said, there it is. I said, there's all that knowledge, and it's wasted because you no longer read comic books. And Nick said, this is exactly what Nick said. I'm rereading The Lord of the Rings. Then I'm finishing up the Jack Reacher series, and then I'm going to start collecting comics again.
How long is the Jack Reacher series?
Honestly, the way he's blowing through them, he'll be done with it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he has been devouring.
Yeah, I think the Jack Reacher series is like 30 books by now, and he's probably already read 20 of them.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, because that can be like 4 books, or that can be like 80 books. So.
Yeah, no, the Jack Reacher series has been going for a while.
And you can never read The Lord of the Rings too many times.
But yeah,
there's always something new to discover.
As far as the Kickstarter stuff is concerned, I am seriously considering backing this one because there is one particular cover that I have got to have in my life. And it's that 2C cover.
Yep.
That is gorgeous. And I'm not showing y'all because y'all go buy them all.
Well, I got to tell you, okay, you were close. You were close. It's 29 and he's read 20.
That's impressive.
But yeah, Mark Spears and his success, well-deserved, is something that I'm very, very glad of. His books are super hot. They are selling like crazy. They're going for big money. It's incredible what's going on. Is it coverprice.com? One of those websites that does this stuff. They post their top 10 and then they post their next 10 runners up books of the week, right? Like their 10 hottest books of the week and then the runners up for 10. So they're top 20 essentially, right? Last week or the week before, 9 of their top 20 books were Mark Spears covers.
Yep.
9. They've never had anything like that happen before. And super cool thing is issue number 3, which is coming out here shortly. I know that pain too, brother. But issue number 3, which is coming out here shortly, is going to have a tribute in it to Alex.
Aww.
Some pictures of Alex, a little bit of Alex's artwork, and a little bit of something that I said about Alex and something that his buddy Richard said. So there's going to be at least a 1-page tribute to Alex in Monsters number 3.
That's awesome.
Well deserved, and I have to. When that comes out, I got to let Alex's mom know and get her some copies. So that's Mark Spears. One of my favorite things of 2024 has been the success that he has enjoyed. What about you, Kaylisa?
I was going to say, I just looked, this is terrible, but I looked up the cover price, and for the weekly top 10 of December 9th, Mark Spears' Monsters is number 6 through number 10. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my favorite thing is local artists in general. It can be comics, it can be crafts, it can be anything. Here in Huntsville, we have Low Mill, which is a defunct textile mill that got turned into like an artist commune in space. And they had their annual holiday market, one of them called the Yule Y'all.
I like it.
And they have a water tower because there's a water tower for the Mills campus, and they do like a lighting as if it's a Christmas tree. And I got this little,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, the ceramic.
It looks
Oh,
like
God.
something that should be like in the background of that movie Book of Life.
Yeah.
And she froze.
With a little bow.
The spirits froze her camera.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's haunted because it just broke the stream. But yeah, I would say
Local
local
artists.
artists of all mediums because they're
That's
always making
awesome.
good stuff. What about you, Alan?
So I had thought about this earlier. Actually, I thought about this the other day because I didn't know if we were going to do anything like this or not. And I wanted to say Mark Spears, but then I honestly stopped myself saying no. For the simple fact of, I mean, I love Mark to death and everything, but I don't want somebody to say, well, you're saying that because y'all are buddies. And I do. I have enjoyed everything that he's done. I'm so happy for him, and I'm so proud of him.
Yep.
I absolutely love, and this is not comic book related, but it is RPG related. I absolutely love what Old Gods of Appalachia is doing.
Nice.
Finally, being able to sit down and listen to some of that stuff and pick up the RPG and everything. I mean, great. Good Lord, I might need to send mine in to get graded. We do cover a lot of DC, or at least we've been talking about it more and more and more, just because of how good they've been doing. Everybody knows that I love my Daredevil, I love my Nightwing, but I decided I wanted to go with a book that I feel like is probably the best book to come out this year. And the reason why I say that is it's the book that surprised me the most. I was absolutely shocked at how good it was and how it delivered on every single level that you would expect this book to deliver on. And you're not going to believe what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say
I'm so curious as what this
Yeah,
is.
I'm trying to think.
my number one book of the year is Flash Gordon.
Oh,
Really?
It has delivered on every single level and has not slowed down at all. I mean, I love what Pepos is doing with the Space Ghost. That's been great. I love all the other DC stuff that's been going on. Marvel, I mean, Moon Knight has been phenomenal all year long. And I've actually got that one signed by Mark Spears. But Flash Gordon had the nostalgia. It had the adventure. It's got the story. It's got the style of art that you would expect with this type of story. It's been in my mind, this book's been almost perfect on every single level. And I still stand by something I said a few weeks ago. If you're not reading it, you're a fool. You need to be picking it up. It's that good.
You did say that. Yeah.
So yeah,
Nobody's listening to you.
That's definitely my pick for the year.
I like that. All right, my cats are making mysterious noises, so I'm gonna.
All right, so. All right, thank you. There. Appreciate it, Kaylisa. Read Lucky Devils. Pick it up and read the first issue when it comes out.
Yes.
And also Witch Hat Atelier if you have anybody that likes good, fun, clean fantasy manga.
Yep.
And Delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah.
If you ever wondered, what do those people eat when they go down there and they don't have any food?
Bye, guys.
Oh,
thanks, Kaylisa.
Hang on, time out. You can't leave just yet. I just got one thing I need to throw out there.
What?
If there's going to be a Haven Christmas potluck thing, I don't think it would be complete unless we had a G.I. Joe cake. You can leave now.
Very Christmassy G.I. Joe cake.
Yeah, Merry Christmassy.
All right. I will take it into consideration. Bye.
Thanks, Kaylisa. Well, Matt, miss it no more. Saturday, December 21st, we're going to have a kind of potluck Christmas party. And we're also going to have Mark Spears out to do a signing. So come about 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, somewhere in there. We're going to just have a good time, celebrate the Christmas holidays and friendship and each other and all that jazz. So
Now, is he going to be doing the signing during the Christmas party or like that day sometime?
right before,
Okay.
just right before. And it's a potluck, so bring something. Or I'm sure there'll be plenty. So if you don't, it's not like a nightmare. But we're just going to have a good time. Now, one of my next favorite things this year, I would absolutely be remiss if I didn't say, welcome back to the popularity of G.I. Joe.
Yep.
G.I. Joe, Real American Hero by Larry Hama and Chris Mooneyham and Paul Pelletier has been spectacular. I mean, fun. It's been great. The Duke, Cobra Commander, Scarlet, and Destro miniseries were great. G.I. Joe #1 has been solid. Looking forward to the next one. G.I. Joe coming back. One of my favorite things of 2024.
Yeah, I will definitely agree with that. I'm especially excited, because Mooneyham did take a couple of issues off from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, he did a story arc and then took a story arc off. That's
Yeah, and
essentially what
I
happened.
am so glad. Nothing wrong with what was going on, but Mooneyham's just in my mind, Mooneyham's on a different level when it comes to G.I. Joe art.
He's got it's got a bit more of a harder hitting kind of a feel.
Yeah, it's a little bit, it's like darker and grittier. I mean, it's just, I love it. So I'm glad that he's back with the new issue.
Yeah.
I would also have to say now, one thing that I really enjoyed in 2020, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I did not enjoy it. I did not really and truly enjoy Blood Hunt, but Blood Hunt did what I love to see Marvel do from time to time, and that is remind everyone that Moon Knight is one of the biggest heavy hitters they have. Is when it comes to handling business in the universe.
Yep.
So I love that. I love some of the stuff that they were doing with Moon Knight. I don't know if I've got it. I'm really enjoying these phases of Moon Knight comic books, and
except for that one weird story.
Yeah, that one weird story. But in this one, we have a Moon Knight that from Egypt. But the cool thing about it is it's a female Moon Knight. And yep. I thought that was really cool. This one right here, this Phases of Moon Knight is probably my favorite one they've done, other than the Moon Knight that was kind of like the medieval knight guy.
The Knight Templar? I love that
Templar.
One. Yeah.
But this one, the second story in here about the king from ancient Egypt.
Yep.
Or Pharaoh or whatever he was. That's just wicked looking.
Oh, yeah.
And I like the way they tied him into Blood Hunt.
Yep.
So that would be one of my things for the year, would be basically Marvel reminding everyone ultimately how badass Moon Knight is.
Yep, I agree with that. Another one for me is the absolute resurgence of DC in general. DC has been on a build coming back into prominence, and it seems like in 2024 they really focused in on let's tell good quality stories, and they are firing on all cylinders, and it is beautiful to see. Having a strong DC is good for the market, and it's also good for people who want to read good stories, and DC right now is just spectacular. What about you?
I don't know. I was sitting here trying to think because I mean it's the resurgence of GI Joe, and I know a ton of people are excited, still just overly excited about the Transformer stuff,
Oh yeah,
the comic books. With Mark Spears, love what he's doing, love that he's having the success that he's having. Marvel and Moon Knight. Let me see what I've got in here. Okay, something that really and truly got started in 2023.
hang on. Let's answer this question. No, no, they're not the cause. I would say they are an outgrowth. They're a symptom. Uh, DC was already doing really, really well. If you look at Absolute Power, um, that preceded the DC's All In Special, which was the origin of the Absolute Universe, was great. They've just been doing a solid job telling good stories in general for a long time before the Absolute books. Uh, Tom King's Wonder Woman is phenomenal. It is so very good. And I hope he stays on that book for a good long time. It's really powerful. Um, but the Absolute books, I think, are kind of a culmination of what they've got going on, and are showing that when DC really puts their mind to it, they can do a lot of good stuff. And Absolute Superman is just it's fantastic. Absolute Batman is fantastic. Absolute Wonder Woman. I've only read the first one. I haven't gotten a chance to read the second one yet, so I don't know if it got any better.
Yeah, I've got 1 and 2 at home, but I have not been able to read them yet. There's a thing in baseball where they say that good hitting begets good hitting.
Yep.
And that is 100% gospel truth with DC Comics right now. I mean, they've been doing good. It's been really solid for a while, but 2024, I mean, it was just like, holy crap at the stuff they were doing. And then they start the Absolute Universe, and it's just been one home run after another. I mean, they've been doing really good. I was trying to look at some of the books, and I've got a few here that I feel like we definitely need to talk about tonight. But one thing that I would have to say that I'm thoroughly enjoying in 2024 was the emergence of Ghost Machine.
Heck yes.
This book in particular, right here, and you had told me, hey, you need to read this, and I was like, I don't know. And it was mainly because the preview, I did not see anything in the little short that they did that really and truly grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was the same thing with Rook. There was nothing in the short that they did with Rook that really grabbed my attention, but I went ahead and picked up the first issue anyway and fell in love with it. And after reading the first issue of Hornsby and Halo, I don't know who was picking the little snippets that they were putting out.
It did them a disservice.
Yes, this is nothing like what I thought. Because if you read in the Ghost Machine special, this comes across as very childish and cartoonish.
Yes.
And when you read this book, it's anything but childish and cartoonish.
It's clearly aimed at a younger audience than us.
I would say it's definitely aimed at the teenage audience. Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it's weak or it's dumbed down. It's really solid book. I enjoyed the heck out of that book.
Yeah, and this is one of those books where it's like Fantastic Four.
Yep.
I'm going to get home, I'm going to read it, and then my 14-year-old is going to get mad at me because I read it before her.
Yep.
And, so, yeah, this right here, that little snippet did not do it justice. If anybody's on the fence about Hornsby and Halo, give this first issue a shot, because it's definitely geared toward young adult, teenager type stuff. But at the same time, there's also a really sociologically sound experiment that's going on.
Yeah.
As far as the families they ended up with. And I thought that was brilliant.
There's this whole nature versus nurture thing going on that's really at the heart of it, and it's really cool.
And I said this before, and I stand by it even after I've read the first issue. Jetsons meets Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
This
in the best possible.
This was great.
I told you, Rockefellers was spectacular.
I mean, a great book. And then the next one, Hyde Street issue number 2.
Oh, yeah.
You see like the Norman Rockwell homage right there, but you actually get another one inside the book.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like the little Boy Scout dude.
Oh, Pranky is terrifying.
Yeah, he is an absolute unholy terror. But at the same time, after reading this issue, you understand why.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it goes back to that nature versus nurture type deal. Yep. I mean, everything that Ghost Machine has been doing has just been great so far, and we've got nothing but more great stuff to look forward to. I mean, we're both excited to see what they do with the Northman.
Oh yeah, I mean they've been hitting home run after home run after home run, and the occasional book that's not a home run or not a grand slam, maybe is a home run. At worst, it's a triple. I mean, there's not a single book they've put out that I've been like, yeah, no, that was terrible.
I mean, it's been really good. And honestly, if it was not for Flash Gordon just delivered. That's all there was to it. If it was not for Flash Gordon, Redcoat would have been my book of the year.
Yeah, that's a solid book.
And I mean, I was not expecting, what was it, issue 6 of Redcoat?
Yeah.
This is one of those books that you're reading and you all of a sudden hit issue 6. You're not expecting to get choked up at the end of it. You see it coming.
No.
Just the way the story is going, but you're not expecting you're just not expecting it. And Redcoat has been phenomenal. I mean, I've got comics laid out here in front of me. We could talk comics for days if we wanted to.
And we will.
Another pleasant surprise that just happened actually today because I read it today. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed Justice League Unlimited. This is the Jim Lee cover.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you read Justice League Unlimited?
Of course I did.
I thought it was great, and
I thought it was phenomenal.
The way that it ended with this character Airwave, I was not expecting that.
Did you read the question all along the Watchtower?
I have not been able to read it yet.
Okay, because if you read that first issue of that first, I think it was supposed to come out after Justice League Unlimited #1.
Okay.
But she is there because somebody is trying to destroy the Justice League from within.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got to figure out who it is and stop it. But the way it came out the week before Justice League Unlimited #1, so I read that and it was a total mystery. You're like, I have no idea. This is interesting. But
now, I loved that while Red Tornado's body is being rebuilt, he's the AI that runs Watchtower.
I
really hope they drag that out.
Oh, I do too. I'm not in any hurry for that to go away.
Yeah, for in the assignments or missions are assigned based on the best possible team team combo that that could pull it off.
And I liked how they showcased some of the people's different powers.
Yeah.
Like when she saved that one couple by reuniting them.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a little heartstring pull on that one either.
No, that was like, where'd that come from? But then also the setup of this new villain organization, the Inferno.
Yeah.
They're mysterious, and apparently they're really smart and well funded and quite strategic in their thinking. Um, so there's some interesting things going on there. Now, Nick, you asked a question, and I think we really need to address this. Um, but before I tell you my 2 cents, I would be curious as to your take on that. So I'm going to need your answer.
I mean, I could send you a link, Nick, if you can remember how to get online.
That's always a good question.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Nick, you tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think because there's reason for the confusion, but there's only one logical answer, despite my misgivings about that answer. Okay.
All right. I will say this. After the ending of issue 311, I really needed issue 312 immediately.
Yes.
Destro about to get him a piece of Serpentor Khan.
Oh, yeah. All right, Nick, you are correct. Balrogs do not have wings. The description that Tolkien gave indicated that their shadow of the one coming into the mines of Moria there uh, was like wings or wings wreathed in shadow kind of thing. But if Balrogs had wings, then falling wouldn't exactly hurt them. And that one dies by falling. In the Silmarillion, Glorfindel kills a Balrog by taking it over the cliff with him, and they fall to their deaths. If it had wings, falling wouldn't be a big deal. So that's my take on that. Now that we've branched off into Middle Earth, let's come back. Alan, you were talking about G.I. Joe 311 going into 312.
Give me just a second.
Alan's going to take just a second.
That is not what I wanted.
It's too bad because that's what you got. What you gonna do now, Alan? We want to know when we want to know a lot.
Or is it? There you go. Let's see if I can pull this off.
Alan's gonna try to pull something
Oh,
off.
good Lord.
What are you doing?
Well, I was going to send Nick a link in to a Twitter DM just to mess with him, and now it's apparently their DMs are not open because of all the controversial crap he posts on. I mean, you shouldn't be posting that type stuff. Nick, I just emailed you a link if you want to jump on for a minute, and y'all can continue the Balrog conversation.
There's nothing else to continue. We're done.
Yeah, so Mooneyham back in this issue. Oh, I'm driving and I couldn't join anyways. All excuses, Nick. Yeah, Mooneyham's back on this issue. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yep.
My only thing about G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero right now is I understand that Cobra Commander has got on like this little
the beret and the mustache and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's got on this little disguise and everything, but his disguise is wearing my nerves out. It really
has been his disguise from 250 issues ago.
Do what?
That has been his disguise for 250 plus issues. That's what he wears.
I know, but it's just wearing me out, and I would love to have seen something else.
But that's how you know that it's him, right?
I really want this Crimson Guard, whoever it is that's in the battle suit that they think is Cobra Commander.
Yes.
I want him to survive, but I got a feeling he's not going to.
Oh yeah, no, he's not. But I also would like him to survive because that dude's awesome.
Yeah, he really is. He needs to survive, and then they actually turn like Sean Collins.
Yep.
You know, he could be the Cobra version of Sean Collins. Oh well, we might as well go on to show that off since we got the big screen.
You don't know how hard I had to work to make sure you got that cover.
Oh no, and I appreciate it because that is the cover I wanted.
I knew that. And Tom had given you the Dracula cover.
Did you ever start reading Superman?
Not yet.
Okay, so this has been really cool, and I like the way they've done it. This is issue 20. Yep. Doomsday is back. He's actually been back for a couple of issues now. But this one, oh, by the way, I love that cover for some reason.
Because it's great.
So in issue 19, right as Superman and Lois, because Lois has powers now, right as Superman and Lois are fighting Doomsday, time stops. And there is a cloaked figure standing there. And Superman's the only person that can see him. Time has stopped everywhere for everyone except Superman. And I've got to look at the name one more time. Well, when he takes his hood off, it's Doomsday, but it's like this skinny, creepy, scary version of Doomsday. And he's there, and he tells Superman basically, hey, I need your help. Well, this issue picks up, and that's him. That is this Doomsday from the future that they don't even call him Doomsday anymore. His name is actually Time Trapper. And he's from, I can't remember how many years in the future. And he has come back in time. He's been killed so many times, and his powers have evolved so many times. He's almost at godlike level. Except now he's no longer just like this complete ball of rage, just hell-bent on killing Superman. And from this, he wants Superman to kill him one more time.
Kill me, Super, one more time.
Yeah, so, and it's really good. But he tells Superman, hey, look, you're in the process of fighting basically me in the past, and you don't understand what's fixing to happen next. The horrors that are coming next are going to be worse than anything you've ever experienced. So it was really good to see this exchange between Superman and this much older and actually wise Doomsday. That was kind of creepy. It was kind of scary. But Superman has been an absolutely excellent book right now because they've almost made him, for lack of a better word, human again. He's not this unstoppable machine anymore. But you know, Superman felt like this unstoppable Boy Scout for the longest time to me.
Yeah.
And the stories are actually good and relatable now. I'm really enjoying what's going on with Superman. And I would love it. I don't know if it'll happen if this Time Trapper version of Doomsday gets his wish and becomes like this godlike entity that he thinks he's going to become. If he has to face, was it Superman Prime 8000 or some crap like that? The version of Superman that basically becomes a god that's like 1 billion years old or something like that.
Yeah.
I would love it if we see those two face off eventually, but I don't think we will. That's a little fan casting on my part. Since we're on Superman, all in Absolute Superman issue 2, what'd you think about it?
I loved
Are
it.
you
I thought
reading?
it was great.
I liked that.
I thought it was great.
I liked that even with this being a new Superman and a new Lois Lane, the way they've never met before, the way they wrote them, there was still chemistry there between the two characters. If that makes sense. It's great. I love what they're doing. I like the direction that it's going in. My only question is, who was he actually shooting at the end of it?
Good question.
Because there was nobody there.
Didn't look like it.
And I'm specific. I'm not saying like trying. I mean, it's Peacemaker. But that whole Lazarus's life thing, that thing is already getting on my nerves.
That's kind of supposed to.
Yeah, I did like that on the missiles or rockets they fired, it said something about peace written on them.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was funny. You mentioned it earlier, Wonder Woman, Tom King. On one hand, it was another great issue, the way he wrote it. But on one hand, it was kind of creepy.
Oh, it was extremely creepy.
I mean, the way she's just singing the lullaby and basically all of her, you might as well say accomplices at this point, are taking out these, what are the equivalent of hits. And you're like, these are all supposed to be good guys. And yeah, no. Well, with the exception of Cheetah or whatever her name is.
Well, and she's on their side in this.
Yeah. Tom King, his writing style is so unique. I love the way he does this. But my biggest question is, at the end of the book, why is Wonder Woman sitting on a throne?
I think that's a couple of reasons. One, she's a princess. Two, I believe that she is symbolically, she's taking down the sovereign, right? The sovereign sits on the throne.
But here's the thing.
Whoa. Hey, look.
What up, Justin Birch?
Justin Birch.
Look, we had Nosh on tonight. Now we've got Justin Birch. Christmas miracles do happen.
We had Legion on tonight. Man, this is a phenomenal night. Look at all these people.
All we're missing is Dustin Ellis. If we can get a Dustin Ellis sighting, the night will be complete. But here was my thing about her sitting on the throne, though. It shows her sitting on the throne right as she gets to that last line of the nursery rhyme.
Uh-huh.
And princesses is bold. No more princesses. So is she implying that is this in the future? Is she the new queen now?
Well, I'm just thinking, you just pointed out something with the lettering in the comic just as Justin came on the show. So maybe we should ask Justin what his thoughts are on that.
Well, I mean, he said hi, then he said bye. Justin,
that doesn't mean he's gone.
Justin, if you're still around, that is a fairly good lettering question. I mean, would a letterer do foreshadowing like that? And I'm not going to sit around and wait on the response because I honestly don't know if he's already jumped off or not. You know what? I will text him.
There you go. There you go. You text him. You tell him. But yeah, I thought that book was great, and I cannot wait to read the next issue.
So he literally just the letterer bolded the word. Now, when something like that happens, I mean, is it Well, never mind, because you kind of answered just about every single question that I might have had on that. So, like I said, are we now foreshadowing? I mean, she's sitting on the throne. There's only two thrones that we really and truly know of here, and that's either going to be the throne on Themyscira or it's going to be the Sovereign's throne. But the Sovereign is who's actually telling the story, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, so she's about to take place somewhere. I mean, but it's typical Tom King writing.
That's
Okay.
unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I think you guys have a lot to add.
I think that letterers should get artistic freedom sometimes, if that's the right word.
I agree. I mean, it should be like any other discipline, right? Within comics. You got a guy who's a really good artist. You say, all right, you interpret this. You got a guy who's a really good letterer. Let the man interpret it.
Okay, so while you're still on, you've got she's singing this nursery rhyme. Justin, are you reading Wonder Woman? But basically, she's singing this nursery rhyme, and halfway through the comic book, that's when certain words start becoming bold in the nursery rhyme. So, like let's see, princess bumped, mommy, goddess, jumping. I was trying to see if they were trying to form a sentence.
He's pulling a Nick Ellis.
I'm pulling a.
Not you.
You're not reading any comics? Oh, no.
That hurts, brother. He's just playing Lorcana. He's turned into a Lorcana fiend.
Hey, are you coming to town for the expo next, April? Because if you're coming to town for the expo next April, I will definitely dominate you at some Lorcana up at the shop. But yeah, the
Gauntlet Throne.
I'm just that whole. I mean, number one, it was creepy because of everything that was going on and the way she was just singing the nursery rhyme. But at the same time, her sitting on the throne at the end of it, I was kind of like, whoa, hold up. And now why does she sit down on the throne at that exact moment that she says no more princesses?
Yeah. I overall, I just thought that issue really showcased her abilities as a general, as a leader, as a strategist. She didn't just fly off the handle and go in fists flying, which is what that's what the sovereign expected, right? That's what he thought was going to happen, and she didn't. She came at him strategically. She took his money. She sunk his money boat. You know, she took out the things that are important to him, and then she's coming for him.
No, Justin, that is actually her daughter, Trinity.
Yeah, she's that look on her face is one of righteous fury, tampered in fury. It's ice cold. It's not. She's not flying off the handle and going and taking care of business with pure anger. She's plotted out her revenge, and she will have it. And that's the face you're seeing. Phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, and this Tom King's run on Wonder Woman, she has definitely had a different feel about her. Just the entire tone and the character of Wonder Woman. And we still have, what was her name? They introduced her in what? She was the one that basically wiped out the bar.
Yeah.
She's still MIA. We haven't wrapped that story
That
up
has
yet.
not been resolved. That's correct.
And I mean, it's that right there is, I still think that's going to end up being a major story.
Oh yeah, that's classic Tom King.
I mean, but it's
He
been
starts
great the
off,
way
he
he's
takes you
done
on a
it.
big journey, and then eventually brings you back around to, I remember that, and you're like, oh man, I do remember that.
I mean, I did enjoy Absolute Power, but at the same time, it kind of got in the way of a couple of books for me.
I thought it was brilliantly integrated with everything else that was going on.
I like the way it was integrated, but sometimes I get impatient with my stories.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I'll join you guys for some Carcassonne, and we'll have to play some Ticket to Ride, and yeah, that'll be good stuff.
I just need to know what weekend. That's all I need to know. Next up on my list, and this one, I enjoyed the first issue. The second issue was even darker and even a little bit stranger and borderline scary, and that was Batman Full Moon, issue number 2. We are headed
love those glow in the dark covers.
Oh yeah, they've been really cool. The whole Zatanna trying to pull the werewolf out of Bruce Wayne's soul on the astral field or astral level, however you want to say it, dude, that was like some straight up 80s movie acid trip insanity right there.
Oh yeah,
that was great. But the whole Batman turned into a werewolf at the end of the issue, it was another of those, why are you doing this and not giving me the third issue immediately? One thing that I really did enjoy was, there's really and truly, the story can be told through the art, and I love the way that they've done it. I mean, it's kind of minimal on some of the wordiness, and I think that that's great. All right, 3 more, and we'll hit these really quick. Green Arrow issue 18. So Josh Williamson is done with his Green Arrow run, and Condone has taken over. It already feels radically different. The style and the tone, I'm definitely going to hang in there with it because Green Arrow has been such a great book this year. So this one is kind of one of those to be determined now. So we'll just have to wait and see. Werewolf by Night, issue number 5. Was not expecting the Hulk. I mean, it's still a fun.
No, it feels weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it was weird to see the Hulk. Well, see Bruce Banner pretty much get bit in half.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of strange.
Did you lock up again?
They act like their relationship is in the past between Elsa and Jack, but I don't think so.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I hope not.
And my last book that I'm going to, do I got one or do I got 2 left? Oh, I got 2 left. One of my last books that I'm going to talk about, we are getting closer and closer to the return of Hush. That's actually covered in Justice League Unlimited at the end of it.
By Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee.
Yeah, and that was very good, the way that they covered Hush at the end of Justice League Unlimited. I really enjoyed that. Was it Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because everything else has been like Two-Face at the end of it. But Batman...
have you read Two-Face number 1?
No, I have not read it.
I know I sent you that text about it that night.
Yeah.
Do not judge that book based on that terrible, terrible cover art.
Really?
I don't know who signed off on that cover. That cover is terrible, but that book is excellent. And what they're doing with Two-Face is really, really interesting. You, Alan, of all the people I know, you will absolutely freaking dig it.
All right, I'll have to check it out. I will check it out based on your recommendation. But this, I thought this was cool, this issue, because Batman goes to Superman for advice.
You're not showing the cover.
Oh, I don't think he really and truly got the advice that he was wanting.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
And I understand why Batman has reservations about his decision, but at the same time, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. But I did like that after everything was said and done, the first thing he says to Damian after he wakes up is, "Hey, take a blood sample." You know what I mean? That's just Batman being Batman. I do want to see.
I think they've given him a new reason for angst with this. I think he's going to get the result, and this is part of what makes one of the differences between Marvel and DC, right? In Marvel, they just keep telling stories, and the characters just keep staying the same age, whatever. In DC, they do age, albeit it takes a long time, right?
Yeah.
For them to get around to it. But he's going to do this thing that he can only do because he is crazy, filthy rich. And he's going to get his health and life vitality, all that stuff back like he was younger. But I think after the fact, this whole take a blood sample, do all this, he's going to discover that came at a price that wasn't money.
I'm wondering if it's a Lazarus pit.
It could be, although he's been through that before. But I think it's going to be something else. I think it's going to be something akin to stem cells from other people, that kind of stuff, people who are not necessarily willing participants.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have guilt.
Kind of like the facial cream from the AWA comic book Rumpus Room.
A little bit.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you.
I think there's going to be something like that. I think there's going to be guilt associated with it. And I'm very interested to see how that goes.
I absolutely loved the way they did the investigation into Gordon shooting the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And how he figured out that it was Mad Hatter. And he really and truly figures it out by accident.
Yes.
I mean, it's completely and totally by accident, but Gordon under arrest having to fight the cops to keep them out of the room while Batman does his little thing, I thought was fun. So, yeah, and then we definitely get the return of the Riddler now because you've got the symbol and everything.
Yep. I'm excited for you to read the Batman book that I think comes out next week, maybe. Batman Dark Patterns #1. That's Batman as a detective, and I'm here for it.
And that one's next week?
I think so.
That doesn't come to Diamond, does it?
No.
And then chances are it is next week.
Yeah, no, it's Lunar.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Batman does the age thing in Detective Comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Both of them side by side.
Okay, you were showing the Court of Owls one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The whole Gordon thing and Gordon killing the mayor and Mad Hatter and Riddler and all that takes place here in this book. The anti-aging serum takes place here, and once again, I don't know what he's doing, but this does not feel like Tom Taylor.
It does feel like Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor just has many facets.
It doesn't feel like Tom Taylor to me on the aspect of how dark this is.
Injustice, Gods Among Us was pretty dark.
See, I didn't think Injustice was that dark. I mean, it had its moments, but And it was a good series. It was a good book. It definitely had a couple of its moments, but ultimately to me, it was just another comic book. And I'm not trying to be like, like downplay it or anything. It was a really good series. What was when they did, and I know I'm about to like cause some anger issues. Please send all hate to Nick at twobrotherscomics.com. Was it the New 52 beginning Justice League? Gods Among Us or crap? I want to say it was like Gods Among Us was the name of it. It was the New 52 Justice League, I'm pretty sure. I got to Google. I'll Google that in just a minute. I don't think it was any better than that. So, I mean, to me, Injustice was, it was good and everything, but it wasn't like phenomenal. I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it, but I just think this is just way darker than what I've ever seen Tom Taylor do before.
It's got a really serious tone, and it really works. It works really well for Batman.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the exchange between Penguin and Batman.
Yep.
When basically Batman is like, "You're gonna leave the boy alone," and Penguin's like, "But he's got my money," and Batman's like, "No, I got it now." So I like that whole exchange. What are we? This is the second issue with Tom Taylor.
Yep.
And I'm really enjoying it. I hope it stays like this.
Me too. And I suspect it will. He is a very talented writer.
That is it. That is literally, like I said, we hadn't talked comic books in a few weeks between Thanksgiving, traveling, everything else, and I'm traveling. I just grabbed a handful of stuff at the to get ready for the show.
I like your style. That's good. That's good. I feel remiss because I forgot to mention one of my favorite things of 2024.
Oh, let's hear it.
And it's a little unfair because it's also one of my favorite things of 2023, and I'm sure it will be one of my favorite things of 2025. But that would be the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo.
Yep.
That's fantastic. It's a great show, great guests, tons of people coming out, and also just watching you sell comics to people is a joy.
I just like talking trash to folks.
And you excel at it. It's fantastic. It makes me happy deep inside my soul.
This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
This is what we need to do. We need to get me and Dustin Ellis in the Haven booth
and start a competition.
And everybody else just leave for like an hour and a half to 2 hours and just let us take care of it for like an hour and a half to 2 hours and let's see what happens.
I'm willing to do that. I think we should have some kind of a competition between you guys is what I think.
You know what? We don't even have to. You can do that if you want to. Go to Terry's, get a large sticky fingers, and come back. That'll be the time that we're left alone.
That is not a bad deal at all. That's a great idea. If we get
Dustin Ellis in town in time.
We'll have to work on that. Two of my other favorite things this year, which I should have mentioned and I regret that I didn't. One of them was Agatha All Along on Disney Plus. Holy smokes. What a phenomenal, phenomenal series that was. And the other one was The Penguin on Max. What a great freaking series that was.
Yeah, have not watched Penguin yet. And on Agatha All Along, we are up to the flashback episode of when Billy was figuring out. It really and truly hasn't come out that he's Wanda's son. I think it's like episode 6 is what we're on. So, but everybody knows it's Wanda's son. Yeah. Yeah, it's the flashback episode before he runs off with Agatha.
Well,
Yeah, we
you
really
just
enjoyed
need
that
to
one
finish
too.
that series up because it's really, really good. That song is so good. But the Penguin. Oh my God, the Penguin! It's so good. I love the fact that these two shows showcase how dramatically different the comic genre is, right? These are
Yeah.
wildly different types of shows, different types of worlds, and yet they're both fantastic and absolutely phenomenal in every way. Um, the Penguin. I'm trying to think of a way to say this without spoiling anything. You know that gut wrenching, heartbreaking melancholy of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Of all things in the universe, Penguin delivers that.
Really?
You would be amazed.
Yeah, living out in the country and not having high-speed internet really does put a damper on a lot of my story watching like that.
Well, you know, a place that has this stuff is Haven.
Yeah, but trying to carve out the time to come sit down at Haven and watch it, that's going to be difficult.
I'm just saying.
I know. Now, there is one thing, and what is today's date? Let me look at this calendar right quick for a second.
Today is the 12th.
So, I will not be here the 19th.
Correct.
I'll actually be flying home that night. The 26th is the day after Christmas. I'm assuming that you want to do a show. We can do that. I'm cool with it.
We can do that or not. I'm good either way.
Okay. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Which means that the next Thursday is January 2nd.
Yep. So I will say this, just in case something happens and we do not do a show on the 26th, I'm gonna leave my thing with this tonight. What I'm looking forward to the most in 2025 out of our little community, is the return of Charlie Cox as Daredevil.
Heck yeah.
I am like, let's do this.
Yeah, that is going to be amazing, and I'm anxious for that. 100%. 100%. All right, folks. We're about to the end of our night. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for the conversation. We always enjoy that. It's awesome. Really appreciate it. Read some more comics. Alan won't be here next week, but I will. I'll see if I can't scare up a guest co-host or something to join me so it's not just me blabbing by myself. And we'll come on and talk some comics. We'll have a great time. Sounds like a fun way to spend next Thursday night. You guys have a great night. Read some more comics. Come back next week prepared to talk about them, and we'll have a great show. It won't be as good as normal because we won't have Alan, but we'll have to just live.
If all goes as planned, you will have me in the comments for a little while because I will be on the plane on the way home. So I can at least watch on my phone.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a great night, and we will catch you next week. Why is it doing this?
Figure I need to do something to kill the time.
Yeah, sure.